Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It began with a single text message that shattered the fragile facade of trust. "I can't do this anymore," it read, a cold knife twisting in the gut of Rhys as he stared at the screen. It was meant to be just another late-night chat, a quiet conversation drifting between them. But the words echoed with a betrayal he had yet to understand. This was the beginning of a spiral that would consume him, even before he could comprehend the depth of the treachery lurking in the shadows of his relationship with Ella. Rhys sat on the edge of the bed, pulse racing, eyes filling with disbelief. How could this happen? They had built a life together. He had proposed just a week ago, a committed future sealed with promises whispered in the dark. On the canvas of his world, where love once painted vibrant strokes, confusion now marked the landscape with dark splatters of doubt. He took a deep breath, and the suffocating silence wrapped around him. "Aren't I?" His thoughts began to race, memories flooding in laughter shared over candlelit dinners, stolen kisses beneath the fireworks, their dreams intertwining like ivy over a forgotten wall. But was it all real? He wrestled with shadows of memories, the warmth of their affection, now cast in an eerie light. What would make her say such a thing? As Rhys paced the dim room, contemplating the implications, he suddenly felt a surge of rage. Alone, broken, and betrayed, he refused to let this define him. The fight began to ignite within him, a fire he did not know he possessed. He had always been the one to resolve conflicts, to mend the pieces after devastating arguments. But this was different. This was a betrayal that cut deeper than any knife could. His phone vibrated again, a tremor of hope mixed with fear that Ella would have reconsidered. Instead, it was another message, but this time from a mutual friend, Jenna, just as clueless. "Hey, Rhys, is Ella okay? I just saw her with someone at the coffee shop. She looked, well, like she was with someone close." Rhys's heart constricted with panic. Ella was with someone else. Who could it be? The last threads of sanity began to unravel. He called Jenna, desperation in his voice. "What do you mean, someone close? Who was she with?" "Who was she with?" "I'm really not sure, Rhys, but I could have sworn it was Mark. You know, her coworker. He came to the wedding planning meetings with her. You know how friendly they were." Jenna's words seeped into his bones, igniting a blind fury he had never felt before. Mark. The name felt like poison on his tongue. They were friends, brothers in arms, sharing everything from late-night beers to life's greatest secrets. And yet, here was Rhys standing on the precipice of monumental betrayal, staring into a chasm of heartache. The man he trusted most could have been taking his girlfriend from right under him. In this moment, Rhys needed more than vague hints and misty memories. He needed truth. He dressed quickly, the swiftness of his movements a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within. The drive to the coffee shop felt like an eternity, each minute stretching into the next as he envisioned every horrific scenario. The betrayal he feared crystallized in his mind. Mark leaning in, whispering sweet nothings just out of reach, crossing a line that should have been sacred. Upon arrival, Rhys scanned the bustling cafe, the air thick with the scent of coffee and betrayal. He spotted Ella first, laughing, a sound that had previously ignited warmth in his heart, but now rang hollow and cruel. She was seated at a cozy corner, leaning slightly towards Mark, her eyes sparkling with unfiltered joy. Rhys noticed their hands brushing against one another, innocent yet so painfully intimate. Fury surged. It coiled around his heart and squeezed until it was nearly unbearable. He stepped towards them, adrenaline surging, ready to peel open the layers of deception. But before he could reach her, the world around him dulled, the noise fading into a distant hum. All that filled his vision were the two of them, the sinister reality of their betrayal painting. The Mark leaned in closer, oblivious to Rhys's presence, and murmured something that made Ella burst into laughter. That laughter, once a personal melody that filled Rhys with love, struck him like a thunderbolt. Each peal was a reminder that someone else had usurped his most precious moments. The warmth of dawn shattered, replaced with the icy fingers of betrayal wrapping around his throat. He stepped back, no longer merely an observer but now an unwilling participant in the twisted play unfolding before him. Days of silent suspicion felt like an avalanche cascading over him, burying reason under an avalanche of pain and indignation. As he stumbled outside, the air felt sharp in his lungs, the cool wind mocking his anguish. The sensation of betrayal stirred a rage deep within, an intense desire not just to confront the situation, but to respond with equal ferocity to the treason he had just witnessed. He needed to gather his thoughts, to make a plan, not just for confrontation, but for a reckoning that would turn the tide of his pain into power. In the days that followed, Rhys lived in turmoil. Each mundane moment weighed heavy under the looming clouds of betrayal. Gritting his teeth, he committed himself to the darkness brewing inside, a potent blend of despair and vengeance that ignited a feverish need for retribution. Not only Ella, who had abandoned their plans without a second thought, but Mark, who had aligned himself against everything they had built, hollowing it out like a parasite. Every corner of his small apartment became a confessional space for his anger. The walls bore witness as he paced, immersing himself in thoughts of revenge, dissecting his emotions like a surgeon preparing for a critical operation. He couldn't let them off easy. They had wronged him in the most profound way, and the bitterness seeped into his veins. Rhys made a series of phone calls, seeking information about Mark's movements. His friend Adam, loyal and unaware of the growing storm, was easily drawn into the scheme. "Just keep me updated on Mark's schedule. I need to see him about a business proposal," Rhys had said, suppressing the intensity of his true motivations. The nights turned to weeks, and Rhys inhabited a world cloaked in shadows, plotting each move with precision. He watched Ella and Mark through the lens of darkness, his emotions twisting further into something sharper, more acute. Every time he saw them together, a laugh shared, a hand brushed his heart hardened, forged in the fire of betrayal. During this time, Rhys reached out to Jenna, the one who unknowingly tipped him into this abyss. She expressed concern for him, sensing the pain lingering behind his eyes.
"Rhys, I just think you need to talk to Ella. Maybe it's not what it seems."
Her thoughts were fleeting whispers in a storm of chaos, but deep down, he knew she would never understand. This was about more than just heartbreak. This was a requiem to be sung on the ashes of deceit. With Jenna's words twisting in his mind, he held on to the notion that there would be no reconciliation, no understanding. He began to craft how he would draw them out, making their betrayal palpable, turning their treachery into chaos and ultimately justice. Thus, a plan took shape, one that had to be executed with careful precision to maximize disarray. Rhys knew that life would not be the same. Each day passing, churning anew with pain interwoven with anticipation. And in those moments of quiet desperation, he relished the prospect of revenge. He positioned himself at the helm of destiny, prepared to unveil the truth and bring the orchestrators of his heartbreak to their knees. As the weight of his decisions bore down on him, Rhys felt an unshakable resolve solidify within, an awareness that these emotions, every fiber of his being now pulled taut with tension, would inevitably lead him to the moment where betrayal met. Payback. It was coming. He could feel it in every heartbeat. And he would not let the opportunity slip through his fingers. It was time for reckoning. And the taste of vengeance lingered sweetly in the air, like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. As the days turned to weeks, the cold, bitter reality of Ella's betrayal with Mark took root in Rhys. He immersed himself in his plan, a dark masterpiece of revenge shaping in his mind. It was not enough for him to confront them. He envisioned a symphony of chaos, where every note reverberated with the pain they had inflicted. The pen had already been dipped in the ink of vengeance. Now it was time to begin writing their demise. Rhys tracked Mark's patterns, each day an exercise in patience. He discovered that Mark frequented the gym after work, an establishment owned by a mutual acquaintance, Keith, someone who had always respected Rhys and what he stood for. Rhys decided he would utilize this connection for his grand design. One evening, a plan took shape on the outskirts of the gym's parking lot. Rhys pulled into a spot under the dim glow of a street lamp, breathing in the cool air, swirling like a storm of anger in his chest. He dialed Keith's number, And when his friend answered, Rhys put on a facade of calm. "Hey man, I know this is last minute, but I have something important to discuss regarding Mark's fitness training. Can you let him know I want to talk? Maybe set up a little meeting." Keith's surprise was audible. "Everything okay, Rhys? I thought you two were tight." "What's up? Let's just say I have an investment opportunity for him. It's about time he invested in himself." "All right, I'll let him know." Once they hung up, Rhys felt a sinister satisfaction wash over him. A calculated chaos was brewing. He envisioned the confrontation, fierce and inevitable, and it thrilled him deeply. With the meeting set for that Thursday, he shifted through his emotions. Revenge was now a beast stirring beneath his skin. The day arrived, and Rhys dressed with intent. A black shirt hugging him like a second skin over his toned body. The anticipation making him feel alive. The plan was simple yet effective. Confrontation followed by the exposure of their despicable behavior. As he approached the gym, he spotted Mark through the glass doors, sweat glistening on his forehead, completely oblivious to the storm brewing outside. Rhys stepped inside, the familiar clang of weights harmonizing with his heartbeat. He could feel the energy shift in the air, a tension that slipped between the weights and workouts. Mark finished his set and wiped his brow, his face lighting up when he saw Rhys. "What's up, man? It's been a while." Rhys forced a smile, but inside he felt the darkness gnawing at him. "Hey Mark, been looking forward to catching up. Mind if we chat for a bit?" "Of course. Let's step into the lounge." As they walked to the back, Rhys focused on controlling his breaths. The gleam of his revenge sparkled brighter with each step. The lounge was empty, an eerie silence that echoed the betrayal between them. Rhys leaned against a wall. Arms crossed, the cornered wolf had finally found his prey. "So, what's this about?" Mark asked, filled with a casual confidence that made Rhys's blood boil. Rhys leaned in, forcing Mark to notice the seriousness in his eyes. "I know about you and Ella. That coffee shop was just the beginning." "You think I wouldn't find out?" Mark's face twisted with disbelief. "What the hell are you talking about?" His confidence faltering, Rhys pressed on, his voice low and fierce. "I saw you two together, touching, laughing. Were you even thinking about how this would affect me? The plans I had? The future I thought we shared? You're scum, Mark. Just as bad as she is." Mark straightened himself, pride sparking in his chest like a flame. "This is ridiculous, Rhys. You're blowing things out of proportion. I would never come between." Rhys cut him off, the rage spilling like molten lava. "Save it. I came here to expose your deceit, not to hear your bullshit excuses. Do you think I'd let you walk away unscathed?" The tension thickened, punctuated only by the faint sounds of the air conditioning. Rhys took a step closer, the predator encroaching on his prey. "How many times did you sit with me at the bar, laying out your bullshit relationship advice while you were lusting after my girlfriend? You think I could ever forgive that?" Mark's bravado wavered, anger sharpening his features. "You're being dramatic. Ella isn't a prize for you to claim or lose. But she was to me." Rhys snapped back, the words slicing through the air with venom. "This isn't just about you being a backstabber. It's about who you think you are." "I wanted to be better than you, and look where that got me. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine." With that, Rhys revealed his card. He had recorded their conversations and sent pictures of their rendezvous to Jenna, who was well aware of the deceit. "I went a step further. Jenna knows everything. You wanted to play games, Mark? Game on." Mark's face paled. The realization of his own undoing washed over him. "You wouldn't. You didn't. Oh, I did. And now everyone will know the truth about both of you. I won't let you creep back into my life, pretending things are fine." "This is just the beginning." Mark lunged at Rhys, desperation fueling him. But Rhys sidestepped with practiced ease and delivered a blow to his stomach that knocked the air out of him. Mark gasped, pain and shock melding into a quivering fear. Rhys towered over him. "This is your reckoning, Mark. You think I'm going to let you off because of old times? I didn't just play nice. You don't get to take my life and toss it aside like yesterday's trash. I will destroy you because you deserve every ounce of hell that comes your way." As Mark staggered backward, Rhys felt exhilarated, seeing his former friend's bravado crumble away like ash. The walls of the gym felt oppressive, almost sanctuary-like in this moment of unveiling. Rhys knew he needed to step this up. There had to be a public reckoning, a moment where Ella would truly understand the monstrosity of her betrayal. He called Jenna, his voice steady and resolved. "Meet me at the bar. I need you to be there tonight. Something big is about to unfold." Jenna arrived, her expression shifting from optimistically supportive to confused when she saw Mark nursing his wounds. "What happened here?" she asked, her brow creased in concern. Rhys turned toward her, pulling out his phone to show her clips of the messages exchanged, the intimate moments captured between Mark and Ella, revealing the extent of deceit. Jenna's eyes widened in horror. Wow, I had no idea. Are you sure you want to do this? It has to happen. Ella needs to know, and everyone else does too. I won't be her dirty little secret. I deserve better." Jenna held Rhys's gaze, her voice softening. "If that's what you want, then I'll back you up. But be prepared for the fallout." Rhys only nodded, his determination unwavering. That evening at the bar they frequented, Rhys set the stage for his confrontation. With anticipation simmering in the air, friends gathered. Laughter and music drummed in the background, forming the perfect setting to fang the blaze of uncovering betrayal. Rhys' hands were steady as he placed his phone on the bar, loading the video of Ella and Mark's moments together for all to witness. The door swung open, and in walked Ella, bathed in confidence, swirling laughter brushing past her. But the atmosphere in the room changed when she locked eyes with Rhys. Her smile faded as panic set in. The fun of the gathering felt alien to her now. Rhys gestured for silence, and the music dimmed to a muffled hum, heads turning toward him. "Everyone, I need your attention," Rhys called out, the intensity of his gaze locking onto Ella. "I have something important to share about love, loyalty, and how betrayal works. This is not just a personal story. This is about lives intertwined and how trust can be shattered with a single moment of weakness." Tension crackled as Rhys hit play, and the screen came alive with images of Mark and Ella captured in their secret engagements, fingers intertwined, laughter shared, an intimacy that he had thought was uniquely theirs. A hush fell over the crowd as his voice echoed through the bar alongside the video. "You wanted to sneak around and keep this a secret? Well, here's the truth laid bare. I fought for you, Ella. I thought we had something real. But it's not just betrayal. It's a mockery of everything we built. Betrayal doesn't just betray loved ones. It mocks love itself. It leaves scars that you won't ever understand until they cut you deep enough." Ella's face contorted with despair, the shame evident as she stumbled backward, her eyes darting between Rhys and Mark. Investigative whispers flashed throughout the crowd, shock imbued in every gaze locked on her. Rhys stepped closer, tension simmering as he addressed Mark, who stood in disbelief at the unfurling. "You thought you could take advantage of my trust and come out unscathed. This isn't just about Ella. It's about the rotting backbone of this so-called friendship. You've packed your bags for the express train to irrelevance and destined ruin." Ella's voice quivered as she attempted a defense. "Rhys, listen, it's not. Don't even attempt to spin this. You made your choice, and now you will face its consequences. I'm not just a scorned lover. I'm the architect of your demise. And just like in love, you steal, you lie, you cheat. The tables will turn." As the final words echoed through the bar, a cold satisfaction filled Rhys's veins, watching as people processed the betrayal before them, punctuated by the bitter laughter of others, sharing in his righteous indignation. As the night spiraled out of control, fueled by reactions of shock and disbelief, Rhys turned back to Ella. Her tears carved paths down her cheeks, revealing the regret and confusion flaring in her eyes. "What kind of monster are you, Rhys? You're ruining me," she cried, a shattered facade barely holding together. Rhys approached her with an air of finality, his voice hushed but lethal. "A monster? I'm revealing the truth, Ella. I won't be the villain of your story. You painted me as the fool, but I'm the man taking hold of my destiny. So let me clear this for you. I know you wanted me to disappear quietly, but instead I'll leave you with this reminder." He pointed toward Mark, and the erupting crowd. People drawing away as if her betrayal was contagious. You will always be remembered as the liar, the cheat. When people look back, they won't see the relationships that formed, but the destruction brewed just for you. Just realize, love can be a beautiful thing, but you chose betrayal, and now you'll live with the consequences forever. A searing silence fell, marking a line that could not be repaired. The weight of loss pressed down on Ella as Rhys turned to leave, the entire room bearing witness to his transformation from heartbroken to vengeful. Outside, the cool night air hit his face like a reset button. For the first time in weeks, he felt lighter. His plan had unfolded like a masterpiece, the paint splattering wide, taking down the monuments of deceit with each precise stroke. As he walked away, a chilling satisfaction filled his veins. The revenge, not just a fleeting victory, but a deeply resonant shift in his narrative. He recalled the words that had once defined him, carving his epitaph into the fabric of betrayal. "You think you're in the driver's seat, but I've been in the back, watching. Now, let's see how you fare on this road without a map," he whispered under his breath. A killer line meant to seal her fate, a final adieu. "At least now I know exactly where you're headed, straight into oblivion." With a glint of resolution tucked deep within his heart, Rhys knew this was not an end but a new beginning, free from the shackles of betrayal. He had means of navigating life now, armed with the valuable lessons learned from the wreckage left behind. A soul stronger than before, a man reborn through the fires of revenge. And as he walked into the night, he savored the taste of victory, something that once felt distant but was now sweet and intoxicatingly satisfying. The ultimate betrayal transformed into the ultimate revenge, and with it, the first chapters of a fierce new beginning. Unveiled. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like.